Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge Career Mode. My name is Mephisto, and boy has it been long since my last upload. But there is a reason for it. In fact, there are several, but long story short, I was gone for all this time due to some health related issues. I'm not going into too much detail, but suffice to say that I had a hard time moving. Basically, what happened was that whenever I would move, it would cause me severe lower back pain. So yeah, considering that when you're driving, you're moving, I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't record. It is over for now, at least. When and if this will ever come back, I have no idea, but hopefully it will never come back. But yeah, that is the main reason I couldn't upload because I couldn't move. So yeah. You also might have noticed that there is no intro to this video, and that's a different story. I was forced to format my entire hard drive and reinstall absolutely everything from scratch. And unfortunately, I had nothing on which to back up anything I had on my computer, so I basically lost everything, recordings, and even save files. So the rest of this season will be done in single races, and I'll keep track of the score myself and add them up at the end of each race. I'll have to do a bit more work, but well, that's it. What can you do? Anyway, with that said, let's jump right into it and head on to France for round 9 of the 2000 Formula 1 season. Let's get started.
Located just a few kilometers south of Nevers, the Magny-Cours circuit combines several short straights with an interesting selection of slow to medium speed turns, hairpins and chicanes. Like the Spanish circuit de Catalunya, Magny-Cours is a modern facility built specifically for motor racing.
So, here we are in France ready to get started with qualifying. And even though it's probably going to be a waste of time, knowing how awful I am at this track, and at any other track for that matter, I'm still going to do it. And so, around halfway through my first flying lap, I managed to lose control of the car. Brilliant. I'm sure that that will give me a pole time, especially if the criteria for pole would be to post the slowest time possible. Anyway, I managed to make my way over to the finish line, and that is a time of 1 minute 29.999 seconds. Wow. And since there is one more car that still hasn't posted any time, this puts us temporarily into 21st. Hopefully our next outing will go a bit better. So now we are coming around for our second time. Luckily this time I managed to keep the car on the track, but even so I only managed to improve my time by a little over 1 second. And so that lap time is 1 minute 20.812 seconds. Not that good at all. See you on the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to France. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Mika Hakkinen, first. Coulthard, second. Michael Schumacher, third. Jenson Button, fourth. Barrichello, fifth. Frentzen, sixth. Villeneuve, seventh. Ralf Schumacher, eighth. Verstappen, ninth. Nick Heidfeld, 10th. Fisichella, 11th. Eddie Irvine was consistently faster than his teammate. He starts 12th. Trulli, 13th. Wirtz, 14th. Mika Salo, 15th. Ricardo Zonta, 16th. Diniz, 17th. Jean Alesi, 18th. Pedro de la Rosa, 19th. Genet, 20th. Gaston Mazzacane, 21st. The Jaguar driver, 22nd.
So here we are now on the grid, and as you can see I'm at the very back. But that's alright, I will try to make up a few spots through the first few laps. And we're off. To an absolutely crappy start. Well, I haven't been practicing since my last video, so I guess I got a bit rusty. Actually, I'm always rusty. Stop lying, Mephisto. You're the Lord of Hatred, not of lying. And here's a replay of the start, which besides our slow start, went quite smoothly. Everyone got away and there were no incidents, which is always good. So now it's time to start overtaking cars. First up is Mazakane. He blocks us a bit, but then he lets us through. And then as the car slowed down for the Adelaide hairpin, I take advantage of it and shamelessly get in front of as many cars as I can without causing any incident. And we are now in 18th. We have De La Rosa in front and Alesi behind. It seems that he's a bit more daring through there. It's quite easy to offset the car through there, so I take care not to do that. But there's still plenty of time to try and get around De La Rosa. We also have to make sure that Alesi can't get in front of us. But I'm a bit too aggressive through the corner. I'm on the curb and lose control of the car. And it is a miracle I didn't hit the wall there. You really have to be careful with the curves through the chicanes on this track, or else you might just end up in the wall. So here is a replay. Let's see if we can get a better look at my mistake. I turn in for the corner and no, that's not a better view, but oh well. I was really lucky I didn't hit the wall. Anyway, we are now coming around to finish our first lap. Not a very good first lap, but it'll have to make do. And if I can get myself to focus a bit, I might just be able to get back where I was halfway from the lap. But as we approach the Adelaide hairpin once more, we catch up to Mazakane. So let us see if we can pass him once more. I make use of his slipstream for a boost in speed, and we're through no problem. I don't think that pass warranted a praise, but thanks anyway, Mr. Engineer guy or spotter guy or whatever. Then on lap 3 I catch up to Genet, get in his slipstream and fly right past. So we are now in P20. And next up we have Deniz, around 3.5 seconds ahead. So let's try to catch up. I'd hate to have to finish the race in 20th, so let's keep pushing. Coming around to finish lap 6, we get a yellow flag warning, and it seems like Deniz had some sort of an accident. And I make it up into 15, helped by the fact that the other cars have started to pit. But I myself have to pit as well, so that means that I will probably drop back down to 20th. Anyway, let's have a look at what happened to Deniz. And here we have Deniz coming out of the slow right-hander with De La Rosa hot on his tail. He then goes through the chicane just before the final corner, peels off into the pit, and drives straight into the pit wall, and loses a bit more than just his wing. I've never seen anything like that. How on earth was he unable to steer away from the pit wall? I have no idea. And now I mess up my braking point for the hairpin. Go very wide, giving Barrichello the opportunity to get in front of me. But I stick close to him. I'll try to outbrake him through the chicane, but it seems that Barrichello managed to outbrake me. Then again, it probably would have only been a matter of time. After all, he does have more power in that Ferrari than I have in my little Jaguar. Anywho, let's stay focused. At the end of lap 8, I finally need to come in for some fuel and fresh tires. And that was Deniz. Somehow he still hasn't despawned. Well, that is interesting. And I sure messed up that stop. Anyway, let's see how long we'll be stationary. .5 seconds. That's kind of slow if you ask me. But then again, I did take on almost 140 liters of fuel, so yeah. And here is a replay of the incident between Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher. Barrichello has a look at Schumacher, but he hesitates and makes contact with Ralf Schumacher. But as they exit the hairpin, Barrichello gets in front. Well, that wasn't all that bad, just a slight tap. Anyway, that pit stop dropped us down to 19, and we are now chasing down Mazakane, and I completely screw up my braking point. That's going to cost me a lot of time, oh dear. Interestingly enough, as we approach the end of lap 9, I somehow catch up to Mazakane, despite messing up earlier in the lap. We're having a look at Mazzacane, but this chicane is no place for an overtake. However, we will stick close to him and try to pass him later. So as we exit the last corner of the lap, I put myself in a position where I can overtake Mazzacane. And we are now in P18. Next up we have teammate Irvine, and we have quite a bit of catching up to do since he is 12.5 seconds ahead, so yeah. A couple of laps later I managed to reduce the gap to around 10 seconds, however I don't think that will be enough to catch up to Irvine. And just as I say that, Irvine and De La Rosa get involved in an accident. And look, there's a rear wing on the track. And here's a replay. Irvine is slowly catching up to De La Rosa, then as they enter the chicane, Irvine slams right into the rear of De La Rosa. So that is the end of De La Rosa, and since Irvine will have to pit, I will essentially gain 2 places. So Irvine just entered the pit, and with De La Rosa out of the race, that's 2 positions gained, just as I expected. So we are now up in P16, and we are around 6 seconds behind Verts. So let's try and stay focused a little bit longer. Well, it seems that the AI decided to go for a second round of stops, which I am not going to complain about, since I gained 2 more places and I'm about to gain another one. That was a bit of a dive bomb, but the overtake was clean, so no harm done, I guess. And we're up in P13, higher than I expected. But I make a mistake through the slow left-hander, and that allows Lacey to get right back in front of us. But I stay close, hoping to get back at him. Make use of his slipstream, we're side by side through the chicane, however he's a bit faster and we both go wide on the exit. And it seems that I slide for a bit longer than Lacey. That lost me a whole bunch of time. I only just managed to regain control and prevent Zonta from going through. We're now on lap 14 and about 2.5 seconds behind Lacey, and Michael Schumacher is having engine problems. Sounds to me like he had an accident. This season hasn't been nice to him at all. His chances for the title are getting slimmer and slimmer with every race. And here is a replay of what happened. Schumacher and Coulthard come around to finish lap 14. They have the Minardi of Genet, I believe, in front of them. Schumacher's car starts to let out some smoke. They come through the fast left-hander at the beginning of the lap, and Michael Schumacher stops the car. Both the Minardi hit him, one of them loses a wing. Well, that is it for the German. I really don't think he can come back after this. He is very far behind Hakkinen in the standings, and now Villeneuve crashes into Schumacher's car. Anyway, here is a replay. Villeneuve goes through the fast left-hander, Schumacher's car is still on the track, Villeneuve hits the car at high speed, and the Ferrari goes flying due to the force of the impact. That was quite a violent crash, but at least it cleared any danger Schumacher's car might have posed to the rest of us. And it seems that I have passed someone in the pit, since I am now in P13, which is outstanding. We are now on the penultimate lap, and we have Trulli ahead of us at around 4.5 seconds, so we'll have to settle for 13th. And now Villeneuve is having some engine problems, no doubt because of the crash earlier. And there he is right in the middle of the track, but we get around him safely. Here is a replay of Villeneuve's retirement. There is clearly some smoke coming out of the rear of the BAR. Considering how violently he crashed into Schumacher's car, I'm not surprised really. One of the Benettons is slow to react and bump into him. And that is Sean Lacey, I believe, who just managed to break his front wing. I might just gain another position, and there I am passing the stricken BAR of Jacques Villeneuve. And surely enough I catch up to Sean Lacey and pass him. Without a wing he has no chance against me. So this is it, the start of the final lap. Can we catch Trulli? I doubt it, but I sure as hell am going to try. So let's give it our all. And now, coming through the final few corners of this race, Trulli managed to increase the gap as I slide the car through the corner. But I regain control immediately and we keep our position, which is P11. That is way better than I expected. I usually finish around P16, P17 on this track, but not today. This is absolutely amazing. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Mephisto, why are you so happy? You finished second in the last race. As I just said, I almost never managed to finish this high on this track. I know exactly where I'm losing time, it's through the chicanes, I just can't keep the car steady through them. But anyway, that is it for the French Grand Prix. It's been a fun race. We need to get ready for our next race, but first, the standings.
fantastic French Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the final results. Hakkinen first. Coulthard second. Jenson Button third. Ralf Schumacher fourth. Heinz-Harald Frentzen fifth. Nick Heidfeld sixth. The Jaguar driver 11th.
I'm sorry for the unprofessional look of the scoreboard, but as I said at the beginning of this video, I had to format my entire hard drive and reinstall everything from scratch. As a result, I lost my save file. And the only way I could continue the season without having to restart it was to do single races, which means I also have to do the standings manually. Once the next season starts, everything will be back to normal, but until then you'll have to live with this. So anyway, Mika Hakkinen wins the race and gains 10 more points, and he's 21 points ahead of Michael Schumacher, who has 39 points. It's not impossible for Schumacher to get back to lead the championship, but it is definitely going to become increasingly hard as the championship goes on. And in fact, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? Will Michael Schumacher be able to win the 2000 Formula 1 season, or will he not? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway, moving on, third place is shared by David Coulthard and Jenson Button with 26 points. In fourth, we have Rubens Barrichello with 10 points. Fifth place is shared between Fisichella, Jos Verstappen and myself with 9 points each. I really need to get my act together because it really doesn't look good for me at all. Moving on, Ralf Schumacher and Nick Heidfeld share 6th with 8 points. Teammate Irvine is in 7th with 7 points. Jacques Villeneuve is in 8th with 6 points. Salo is 9th with 5 points. In 10th we have Frentzen with 4 points. Sharing 11th place is Vert and Ricardo Zonta with 2 points. And finally in 12th is Mazzacane, who has that lucky 1 point he grabbed in Monaco. Next up we have the constructor standings. McLaren gains 16 points with a wonderful 1-2 finish, bringing their total to 86 points. Ferrari are still in second position, still with 49 points. That's 37 points behind McLaren. In third we have Williams with their wonderful finish. Third and fourth, that's 7 points for a grand total of 34 points. In fourth we have our team with 16 points. Benetton are fifth with 11 points. In sixth we have Arrows with 9 points. Seventh place is shared by BAR, Sauber and Prost, all with 8 points. Eighth place is held by our former team Jordan with 4 points. And finally we have Minardi in ninth with 1 point. So anyways guys, that is it for this video. Again, I'm sorry for the long wait, but health comes first and fun comes second. Hopefully it won't happen again. I don't know. Maybe if I'd actually go to a doctor, I'd know more, but I won't go to see a doctor, so yeah. It is probably a bad idea, but I don't care. I prefer to stay away from doctors. But anyway, join me next time when we'll be heading over to Austria for round 10 of the season. Hopefully, there we will be able to score some points. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp. Yeah, I don't even have the song anymore. Great.